Alright, I'm not gonna lie, this is one of those moments that gets you thinking as a Chiefs fan. I'm Victor, and right now it feels like the entire offseason is screaming the same thing. This team needs more juice in the backfield. In the last 24 hours, we've seen the Chiefs named as the best landing spot for a 25-touchdown weapon, and now they're also being linked to a freshly crowned Super Bowl MVP running back. That's not random. That's a pattern. Kansas City finished near the bottom of the league in explosive rushing, both of our top backs are free agents, and suddenly analysts everywhere are pointing at us as the team that needs to make a move. That tells you everything about where this roster stands right now. Before we dive in, if you're riding with Chiefs Kingdom like I am, help us get to 1,400 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow and keeps this daily Chiefs talk alive. Now let's break this down. Because if even one of these moves happens, it could completely change what this offense looks like next season. Because when ESPN's Matt Bowen names the Kansas City Chiefs as the best landing spot for Travis Etienne Jr., that's not just random offseason chatter. That's a direct reflection of where this offense stands right now. We all watched it last season. The run game finished 25th in the league, 106.6 yards per game. That's not Chiefs football. That's not the kind of balance Andy Reid wants. And when you combine that with the fact that Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco are both free agents, you're staring at a backfield that could look completely different in a few months. Now, Etienne isn't just some depth piece. This is a guy with legit burst. Bowen pointed out his play speed, and that's the word that jumps out to me: speed. The Chiefs' backs have been solid, reliable, tough. But we haven't had that one cut and he's gone electricity consistently. Etienne had 26 runs of 10-plus yards last season, tied for 12th in the NFL. That's explosiveness we simply didn't have. And it's not just about running between the tackles. Over the last 2 seasons, Etienne has put up 52 receptions and at least 250 receiving yards, plus 6 touchdowns last year. That matters in Andy Reid's system. Screens, angle routes, backfield releases. You can already picture Patrick Mahomes dumping it off and Etienne turning a short gain into a 25-yard play. As a fan, this is the kind of move that feels proactive. It's not flashy for headlines. It's strategic. It's admitting that the offense needs more juice, more unpredictability, more big play potential, especially with Mahomes coming off that ACL injury. You don't want him carrying the entire offense again. You want to take pressure off him. Now, will Jacksonville fight to keep him? Probably. They'd be crazy not to. But the fact that analysts are consistently pointing at Kansas City as the perfect fit tells you something. The league sees the same hole we see. And here's what really gets interesting. Because this isn't just one article saying the Chiefs need a running back upgrade. There's another name floating around right now, another back, a much louder name, a guy who just took over the biggest stage in football. And when you start connecting those dots, it feels like this offseason might be way more aggressive than people think. All right, now let's talk about the other name that just made this whole conversation a lot louder. Because while Travis Etienne feels like a smart, explosive upgrade, this next possibility feels like a statement move. CBS Sports recently named the Kansas City Chiefs as a top landing spot for Super Bowl 60 MVP Kenneth Walker III. And when you hear that title, Super Bowl MVP, you immediately understand why this is different. Walker just carried the Seahawks on the biggest stage. 27 carries, 135 rushing yards. He added 26 receiving yards. He wasn't just part of the win, he was the engine. That's not hype, that's production under pressure. Now step back and look at our situation. The Chiefs didn't even make the Super Bowl this year. For the first time in a while, we were watching from home. The run game ranked near the bottom in explosiveness for the 2nd straight season. Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco are both free agents, and Patrick Mahomes is coming off a torn ACL. That context matters. Zachary Pareles pointed out something that should sting a little. Kansas City's backs posted the least explosive rushing rate in the NFL. Think about that. The least explosive. In an Andy Reid offense. With Mahomes at quarterback, that tells you everything. Walker is the opposite of that problem. He's violent between the tackles, but he's also got breakaway speed. He can hit a crease and be gone. And after what he just did in the Super Bowl, you can't question whether he can handle pressure. But here's where it gets complicated. The Chiefs are tight against the cap. Making a run at Walker would require real maneuvering, restructures, tough decisions, maybe even sacrifices somewhere else on the roster. And that's the part that makes this more than just fan fantasy. It becomes a front office test. As a fan, I'll be honest, this one excites me more than the Etienne talk. Not because Etienne isn't good, he absolutely is, but because Walker feels like a tone setter. He feels like a message to the league. We're not retooling, we're reloading. At the same time, you have to be realistic. After that Super Bowl performance, Walker is going to have suitors, teams with more cap flexibility, teams that can throw bigger offers at him. So if the Chiefs truly want him, they'll have to be aggressive and smart, and that's what makes this offseason fascinating. In part 1, we talked about adding electricity with Etienne, a dynamic dual threat who upgrades the scheme. Now we're talking about potentially landing a Super Bowl MVP who just proved he can carry an offense when it matters most. Put those two stories side by side, and what do they tell us? They tell us the Chiefs know exactly what their problem is: explosiveness in the backfield. They know Mahomes can't be Superman every single Sunday, and they know if this team is going to bounce back into true contender status, it starts with balance. To me, this doesn't feel like a passive offseason. It feels decisive. Either the front office is going to make a real move at running back, one that changes the identity of this offense, or they're going to risk wasting another year of Mahomes' prime while hoping serviceable is enough. And as a Chiefs fan, I don't want serviceable anymore. I want fear factor. I want defensive coordinators losing sleep again. If they land Etienne, that's smart. If they somehow land Walker, that's a statement. Either way, these two reports together tell us one thing loud and clear: Kansas City knows it needs more juice. Now the question is, are they bold enough to go get it? So what does all of this really mean for the Chiefs right now? It means this offseason is not about tweaking around the edges, it's about identity. When you see reports linking Kansas City to Travis Etienne, and then you see the team named as a top landing spot for a freshly crowned Super Bowl MVP in Kenneth Walker III, that tells you something very clear. The front office understands the problem. The offense lost its explosiveness. The run game wasn't scaring anybody. And with Patrick Mahomes coming off an ACL injury, you cannot afford to put everything back on his shoulders again. This moment feels decisive. Either the Chiefs inject real electricity into that backfield and re-establish balance, or they risk becoming predictable in a conference that's only getting stronger. As a fan, I'm actually encouraged, because for the first time in a while, the conversation isn't about patching holes, it's about adding weapons. It's about getting back to being the team nobody wants to face in January. But at the same time, I want action. Not just rumors, not just best fit headlines. I want aggression. I want urgency. I want that front office to move like they know Mahomes' prime is sacred. This offseason feels like a fork in the road. And honestly, I'm hopeful, but I'm watching closely. Now I want to hear from you. If you had to choose, are you going after Etienne? Are you going all in for Walker? Or do you have another name in mind? Drop your take in the comments. I read them all, and I love seeing where Chiefs Kingdom stands on this stuff. If you're enjoying these breakdowns and real fan conversations, hit that like button and subscribe. We're pushing toward 1,400 subscribers, and we're getting close. So if you've been watching and haven't joined yet, this is your moment. Let's build this channel the same way we want the team built. Aggressive and championship-minded. All right, Chiefs Kingdom, we'll see what happens next.